Good morning, friends. This is a short presentation on the vaccines which are being used to fight the COVID pandemic. As we all know, many people have doubts regarding the vaccines, and the doubts are mainly about, do the vaccines really prevent COVID-19? And a related question is, there are reports that people are falling sick even after vaccination. Why? And so let us have a brief look at whether the vaccines are providing protection to the people in the United States and India based on the recent results data that is available. This is not the results from the vaccine trials, phase 2, phase 3, all that. This is the data from the actual vaccination programs going on over the last 3-4 months. So to start with, the COVID situation in the United States from January 2020 till 13th April 2021, more than 31 million people tested positive for COVID in the USA, and more than 567,000 of them died. It's a huge number, a tragedy of unprecedented magnitude. Vaccination commenced in the United States in the end of 2020, and it's been around 4 months. And this week, the Center for Disease Control announced the results of their analysis about whether the ongoing vaccination program is actually protecting American people. You can go to the website and have a look at the results in detail. I'm just going to share some of the major take-home points. Till 13th April, 75.3 million Americans have received both doses of the vaccine. That is, they're completely vaccinated. Among them, after vaccination, 5,814 people got infected with the COVID virus. That is a very small number, 0.008%. Of them, 396 had to be hospitalized and 74 finally died of COVID. To sum it up, 75.3 million people have been vaccinated, and of them, after vaccination, 74 people died of COVID. Now, any death is obviously tragic, but if you just compare this number with the national data of the unvaccinated population from last year, where 31.3 million have been infected since 2020 and 567,000 people have died. If you compare these numbers, there is absolutely no doubt that vaccines are saving lives. And if we could do a crude extrapolation, that if we had, instead of 31.3 million people, if 75.3 million people were actually infected, I mean, that is the same as the number of people who got the vaccine. Then if 75.3 million unvaccinated Americans were infected, then the number of deaths would have also probably risen, and it would be more than 1.3 million. Now, I must tell you, this is not a very scientific or statistically correct way of doing extrapolation. It's just a simple or crude way of driving the point home. On one hand, you have numbers in the thousands, in the million, and on the other hand, 74. There is no doubt about the real world efficiency of vaccines. Vaccines defeat COVID. Vaccines are saving lives. And which is why vaccination is steadily going on in the United States. As of 20th April, more than 86 million people are fully vaccinated. That is 26% of the population. At this rate, by the end of this year, they should be reaching something like herd immunity. Of course, it's a dynamic situation. New viral mutants will keep on rising. There will be population fatigue. It's a free world. People are traveling, and so there will be fresh local waves. There are orthodox, ignorant, arrogant people who will refuse the vaccine. But as of now, this is a great scientific success. Undoubtedly, vaccines are saving American lives. The related question is that why did 5,000 plus people get those infections? They're called the breakthrough infections. If you get an infection even after vaccination is complete, it is called a breakthrough infection. And the reason is that because the primary function of vaccination is to stop severe disease, to prevent hospitalization, to prevent death, not infection per se. It does provide protection, of course, it does. But the primary function is to stop severe disease. You see, the virus is in the air, it can enter your body, it can start an infection. But if the vaccination is complete, that is 2 doses plus another 2 3 weeks 3 weeks rather, then the body is so well ready that even if the virus is now entered, it is very unlikely to cause severe disease leading to hospitalization. And the numbers actually show that. Of the 75 million people vaccinated, only 396 were hospitalized. And that's a very, very small percentage, and it's big resounding success. And if you see these graphs, these reinforce that this is the situation before vaccination, where more number of aged people were falling sick and getting hospitalized compared to the younger population. But when vaccination started, it was the older people who got vaccinated on a priority basis. Most of the younger population is still unvaccinated, and which is why now, after vaccination, the number of aged people getting hospitalized is less, and the number of younger people getting hospitalized is more. Well, this is called the vaccine effect. It's a proof that vaccination protects against hospitalization. You can see a similar success story developing in the UK, where now almost 50% of the population has got at least one dose of vaccine. And correspondingly, there is a steady decrease in the number of active infections. The number of deaths is at an all-time low. And the UK seem to be quite serious about maintaining this success, and which is why they very recently put flight restrictions from India. Indians traveling to the United Kingdom now have to be much more stringent about rules. How's the situation in India? As we know, vaccination started in India in mid-January. There were initial scientific doubts. Senior scientists raised objections in the way the vaccines were released. But at the same time, over the couple of months, scientists and doctors have urged people to get vaccinated, to cast away their vaccine hesitancy, and because they know that vaccination does save lives. And yesterday, the health ministry shared results of the post-vaccination breakthrough infections in India. And the results are given in this table, as you can see, Covaxin and Covishield. Covaxin has been, both doses of Covaxin have been given to around 1.7 million people. And the people who got infected after that is a very small number of 695. And Covishield has been given to almost 15 million people, almost 16 million now, and the number of infected is around 5,000. So it's breakthrough infections after vaccination in India is somewhere around 0.04, 0.03%, going by this table. It must be said that the details of this result, the methodology and all that, how it was done, how it was collected, how it was analyzed, the details need to be published very soon so that scientists in India, scientists abroad can analyze that and provide their constructive inputs. But of course, there is no doubt that mass vaccination must speed up in India. As of now, of course, it's a very large population, but even then, as you see, hardly 10% of people have got vaccinated one shot. Total complete vaccination has been achieved for around 1.6 or 1.7% of the population only. And we must try to reach around 60-70% vaccination, which is essential for reaching something like herd immunity. And if that does not happen, if 60-70% of the population does not get the vaccine, then it is not unlikely, that COVID will become endemic in India. And because COVID-19 has so many systemic effects on various organs, if there is vaccination is slow or doesn't happen in India, then over the next few years, thousands of Indians will suffer from diseases of the heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, kidney, testis, brain. Uh, Mortality will increase overall. There will be a major problem in society, in economics, in medicine, all over, which is why it is absolutely essential to speed up the vaccination in India. So, to sum it up, the results presented here should encourage everyone to get vaccinated. There is no scientific reason to not do so. Do not forget, more the number of Indians get vaccinated, it is safe for the individual and his family. At the same time, it increases our chances of reaching herd immunity, and we'll all benefit from it. Of course, it must be said that the recent rules which came yesterday and the price hike might be a deterrent. Ideally, GOI should provide free vaccination to all citizens. It's been a difficult financial year the last couple of years. And say, for example, if a five-member family have to pay for their vaccines, it'll cost between 4,000 and 6,000 rupees, which is a big thing in times of such financial difficulty. And that could result in vaccine hesitancy, and our mass vaccination program will suffer. But that's a different subject. To conclude, ask your doctor. If advised, yes, do not delay your vaccination. Go and take it. Thank you. All the best.